The following video is produced by University of Vermont Extension. For more information, visit uvm.edu/extension.
At Cedar Circle Farm in East Thetford, there are placards for fresh lettuce and crisp cucumbers. Garden variety signs, to be sure, with one exception: a notice asking visitors to please wash their hands. It's one of the many ways that this farm is raising awareness about food safety.
We realize that the most important thing, whether it's us selling food to someone or you buying food from someone else, is washing your hands. It's the stuff that your mother tells you.
Megan Baxter is the production manager at Cedar Circle Farm. A few years ago, she took the initiative to create a food safety manual for farm employees.
Food safety measures were sort of ramped up 3 years ago after all the big spinach and peanut butter scares. We were concerned that legislation was going to be passed that would sort of exclude our current policies and we'd have to play catch up, and we'd rather have been on top of it than scramble to get things done.
Baxter's proactive approach to food safety has set a standard for other farms to follow.
What's great about what Cedar Circle has done is that they knew that food safety was becoming an increasing concern amongst consumers.
Ginger Nickerson is the UVM Extension Good Agricultural Practices Coordinator. She believes that Cedar Circle Farm's commitment to food safety has far-reaching effects both on and off the farm.
They've always been paying attention to plant pathogens and tomato blight and things like that. So they did an assessment on their own farm, looking at where the possible places were where contamination could happen on this farm, and then implementing strategies to reduce the risk of any contamination.
There's multiple very sort of personal reasons for doing this. One is that we want our produce to last longer. We don't want to throw things away after it's been harvested. So if things are harvested and processed and stored correctly, their shelf life is much longer. So we actually bring a better and cleaner product to market, which people are impressed by. Other farmers say, wow, your carrots are really clean. How did you get them like that? We triple wash just about everything that goes to market, either in our standard or wholesale or farmer's market. Hi there, how are you doing today? You're looking to pick some blueberries?
Yep, blueberries.
Okay, we're asking everybody to wash their hands before they head out, and our hand washing sink is located right over there.
Okay.
Cedar Circle also gives customers the option of pick your own strawberries and blueberries. U-Pick is a great experience for the public, but it presents a big challenge for the farm's food safety policies.
It's the one thing we can't control. That is my other problem with the U-Pick. It was the one hole in our perfect system for keeping food clean before it went to a customer. So that's the real reason that I implemented U-Pick policies, just to be a safety net that covered up that one gap in what we were already doing.
In addition to washing their hands before picking, customers are also asked to leave their four-legged friends at home.
People think of farms as being public spaces where they can walk their animals at leisure, and we don't unfortunately have really any shaded parking either. So we've been encouraging people on our website to just not bring their dog. Yes, dogs that's the number one thing people get upset about. Hand washing, nobody complains about. I think maybe 30, 40 years ago they would have, but I think we live in a much more germophobic culture than we used to. People are very used to washing their hands.
I've never been asked to wash my hands before berry picking before.
Janet Cathy is a longtime Cedar Circle Farm customer. When she was asked to wash her hands before berry picking, she was happy to abide by the farm's policies.
Anybody could have something on their hands that isn't clean, so it makes sense to have your hands washed. And then I realized that I could be leaving something on the berries for somebody else to get, so I understand about being considerate.
For Cathy, picking the berries is only half the fun of visiting the farm.
I just love picking berries, and I love eating them while I'm picking them, and I love thinking about all the things I'm going to make with them when I'm done. And it's just a nice thing to do on a beautiful day.
U-Pick operations, roadside stands, and weekly farmers markets provide customers with an experience that's no different from any other recreational or tourist activity. Farmers engaged in this kind of agritourism need to provide customers with an experience that's both unique and familiar.
Things like the hand washing stations, like the signage, that actually helps people become more confident when they come to the farm. They say, okay, good, this is a place I sort of fit in, I see this, and that kind of lines up with other tourism experiences that they have in other sectors, non-agricultural tourism experiences, where they're accustomed to signs, accustomed to being told where to go and what to do. And not that every farm experience is regimented like that, or not that anybody dreams of keeping people on the straight and narrow, so to speak, but from a tourism perspective, it just helps sort of situate people and helps locate people within those expectations.
I absolutely encourage people to get out on farms, to have interactions with nature.
Lynn Zanardi Blevins is a doctor who worked at the United States Center for Disease Control before working with UVM Extension Center for Sustainable Agriculture. She warns that no one is immune to foodborne illness, and that newer or variant strains of bacteria like E. coli are of increasing concern. Children and the elderly are at the greatest risk, which means even stricter vigilance must be paid to food that comes directly from the field to the plate.
People are definitely eating more fresh and whole foods than ever before. And this is great news because fresh and whole foods are healthier for you than processed foods are. The downside is that there's no heat step that would kill a pathogen on a contaminated piece of produce. And this is why it's so important to prevent contamination of produce on a farm. It's much more difficult to decontaminate down the line in the kitchen.
So it's just, contributing to creating to a culture where people are aware of food safety and they're sharing that awareness with one another. And so, in my mind, what Cedar Circle has done is really because it's an important part of them. And so if consumers are coming to a UPIC farm for this fabulous experience to eat fresh, locally grown produce and have some time on the farm, they need to be aware that they have to play a role in being aware of food safety and some very simple practices.
Be it you pick or they pick, remember Mom's advice and wash your hands. In East Thetford, I'm Keith Silva with Across the Fence.